everyone, and welcome to another episode of Schmidt Lavelle. My name is Tom Lavelle, and as always, I'm accompanied by Mr. Timothy Schmidt.
Hey,
Let's hear
hey,
that applause again for
uh,
Timmy.
bing, bang,
Wow.
boom. Hello.
Timmy is, I'm telling you what, I'm liking Happy Tim. I'm liking positive Tim right now.
Pretty much always positive, Tom. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm a
okay.
very positive guy. I'm just in a really, really great mood right now.
That's awesome. He's in a great mood, and this is going to be a great show. And we appreciate you listening. We want to give a shout out to you, the listener out there. Thank you for listening, following, subscribing. We recently had our episode, The Cussin' Jar, break the record for most views on our podcast platforms and YouTube. We appreciate you listening. And if you aren't already doing it, this is that time to pause for a second, hit that follow, subscribe, get a notification whenever we release new episodes every week, new episodes of Schmidt Lavelle. We try to put it out there and make it as fun as possible. And if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, please send us a message, a text, a DM, whatever you want, and we will bring it up on the show. So, Timmy, what I'd like to do right now is get into some of the comments of this past week.
As we always do, Tom, at the top of the show.
Top of the show, our
Recognize
most
our fans, right?
hell yeah, our most viewed video with a couple thousand views on the socials was the whether to tip at the drive-through video. Couple comments from that we got from Courtney Nicole Fleming. I always tip them, she says. Gail Ann, Burger King asked me, "Do you want your change?" Yeah. Yeah, she wants her change. Gannon says, I always let them keep the coins. User 480-708-338629 says, no.
Do we get a verification on who that person is? It sounds like a bot.
You know, when you sign up for the TikTok, it is sometimes they just give you that username. And if you never make it your own, you just get, I guess, the serial number that they give you. That Eagles kid says, not a shot I'm tipping at a drive-through. Ish adds up. Miss Jacqueline Riker says, I had a bad habit when I was a younger kid of telling every single delivery, takeout, drive-through person to just keep the change no matter the actual cost. My mom was peeved quite often. Timmy, a bit of a split there. Some people tip all the time. Some people just leave the change like you will because they don't want to hold around the change. And some people
Yeah.
will absolutely not tip a drive-through or Dunkin' Donuts, I guess is what we were referring to.
Just to go back a second there, can you read back that Eagles kid? I believe it was his
That Eagles
comment.
kid, not a shot I'm tipping at a drive-through. Ish adds up.
Ish, I'm assuming means shit.
That's correct.
Is that is that like a is
That
that a
shit adds up.
substitute?
Like if I'm tipping at the drive-through every time I go through, I mean that shit it's gonna add up. I guess is what he's saying.
Yeah, well, why not just say that shit adds up? What's the ish? What's that?
You know, it's a slang term, Timmy. All the cool kids are
Eh,
doing it. And
okay.
instead of writing shit, I guess you could just write that ish and everyone knows what you're talking about. You know
All
what I
right.
mean? Down
Yeah.
since day one ish. It was the
Is it
Usos, and that's our Jabroni Drive show right there. The Usos down since day one ish.
they use the ish?
They use the ish. They're down with the ish.
Okay. All right. I'm down with the ish, I guess.
Yeah. That ish
All right.
adds up.
It does add up. And that's look, I mean, if you're counting change, I don't know how much change that I've thrown away, or not even thrown away, given away, or thrown in the cussing jar, right? Um, it does add up. I mean, you let that sit around for a little while, and then you go up to the Acme to go to the Coin Star, and you dump that stuff in there, and it ends up being like $78. You're like, yeah, it's not a bad come up.
You know what?
So
Back in the day, Timmy, I used to, we were able to get a couple cases of beer in hard times when I had some change. You know, you're recently living on your own, young kid, 19 years old or something like that, and you had like a bucket of change, and you're like, whoa, we have
Dude,
this could get us a couple cases of beer.
the um the big thing for me was we had like the water jug upside
Yeah.
down, and then you would just you would dump all the change in there, and then it's like a race to the end. Like if you have siblings, you know how this works, right? Like all of a sudden you come home one day and Chris is gone and so's the change bucket. You're like, oh my god, dude, are you really you've taken it up to the Acme? You confiscated the change bucket, and now are you going to give us that money? Are you going to break us all? We've all contributed to that. It's got to be split, right? But the older
Uh,
brother just takes it and he bullies his way to the Acme, pockets the money. It's just bullshit.
what do you do with? I mean, I'm assuming he was buying beer with it or something.
I mean, more than likely. I mean, I'd probably benefited from it one way or another, but
Here's a 6-pack. Shut up.
shut the hell.
Yeah, well, I had something with that too that you were going, and now I forget. Oh well. The change bucket was always a good thing for me. I always liked having the change bucket. One last comment from Mr. JWAG79. The new episode went by quick. The topic, who to tip, is gold. That could have filled hours. Timmy, maybe we will come back to the old who to tip, how to tip, where to tip kind of thing going on. And
Why the tip?
yeah, why to tip, just a tip, all of it. We'll get to it on another episode, I'm sure, in the future. So thank you for all the comments out there. And like we said before, we appreciate you listening and subscribing. And if you don't already do it, give us a follow. Tell your friends, tell your family. Schmidt Lavelle, the hottest growing podcast in all of podcasts, besides Jabroni Drive, which is our other show. That's also very hot.
That's very hot, very hot. They're 1 and 2 right now in the rankings.
Timmy, something interesting this weekend. I kind of had a bit of an epiphany that I wanted to run by you. And I guess it's not necessarily something I ever thought about, but I kind of am getting into Judaism a little bit. In fact, the Jewish mantra, the way they do things. I was watching You're Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, and I just love Adam Sandler so much. And then I start thinking about like my friends that were Jewish and all this other are Jewish, and they've always been pretty cool, like real, like normal, down to earth people. I don't run into many douchebag Jewish people. And the teachings that was going on in this bat mitzvah was I was like, that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I almost felt like it was my bat mitzvah watching it. You know what I mean?
No, I don't really have much experience with the Judaism or the Jewish faith or people.
Have you ever
No,
gone to a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah?
never. No,
No?
I've gone to a bar, never been to a mitzvah.
Tim, you haven't lived until you've been to a mitzvah. Let me tell you something. This is like a wedding when you go to it. When I was like a young kid, and I think I've been to 3, 2 bar mitzvahs, 1 bat mitzvah.
Mm-hmm.
These were extravagant events. I mean, the big thing for me was soda gun, unlimited soda and cherry juice in there too. We were cranking Shirley Temples like it was nobody's business. You know what I mean? It was a magical day.
Shirley, dude, I think we've talked about Shirley Temples at a wedding before when we were kids. I mean, that was the go-to. Like you would see a line, there'd be people at the bar, right, drinking their drinks, and then there'd be like a kid line right next to all the adults. And it was just Shirley Temple after Shirley Temple. It was like a race to see how many people could suck down as many Shirley Temples as possible.
That might be something that is a sign of times to come. The
Yeah.
kids that were slamming the Shirley Temples were the ones that later in life are
Guilty as charged.
The proof is in the pudding, Timmy, and here we are, Shirley Temples. We've moved on from Shirley Temples to adult Shirley Temples, I guess I should say. But yeah, I came to that epiphany, and I just wanted to let everyone know Tom loves the Jews. and the whole Jewish religion and everything. I love it. So
It's a
cool.
good time to start loving the Jews right now, I think.
Well, I think I always have. I just realized it. You know what I mean? I was like, man, these people, they're great. But hey, you live, you learn, you have an epiphany, and I certainly had one. So, Tim, you said you had a great day today. You're all happy, you know, glasses half full. Happy Tim yet again. Another week of happy Tim. You're just a guy that you can never get down. A ray of sunshine.
Yeah. Look, Tom, there's days, and I used to do this on social media every once in a while, and it wasn't just for like clicks or anything like that. Like I really feel there's days in the year that just I don't know, something's like maybe like the earth's tilt or something. I don't know, but it lines up and you're just thankful to be alive, right? You're driving maybe and it's a nice chill in the air, it's a perfect day, blue skies, and like you're just thankful to be alive, Tom. Like it's just you got a good outlook on life and you're like, hey man, I'm in a good spot right now. Yeah, I got a great girlfriend, two beautiful kids, right? Like dad's still around. I got just life is good, dude. And sometimes you just gotta soak it in, Tom. Just gotta say, hey, man, life ain't so bad right now.
I love that, Timmy, and I think so often in our lives, and I'm speaking for everyone here, we seem to be thankful or in time like I always thought like oh when you would like pray to God it was like something bad was happening. It's not bad to throw something up there every once in a while when it good's going on. Like man, I really am grateful for this time. I mean today's perfect. A little foliage, the leaves are starting to change. A bit of a chill in the air in the morning. That sun comes out. You're still a little warm. You got a hoodie on. You take the hoodie off. Breathe in the fresh air. What a
Dude,
day.
I mean, when you put out good energy, I think good energy comes back. I am a firm believer in that. And it just it's got like it was a good energy day today. I had work until about 1:30. I was able to get onto the golf course. I enjoyed some nice golf with a good buddy of mine. I played pretty decently, but it was the first time I've been out in about a month. And I get paired up with like, and look, I'm not trying to be misogynistic here, but like, so we got paired up with a lady today, and
Okay.
stereotype a lady on a golf course by herself, on a public golf course is tends to be a little slower sometimes. It kind of drags on the round, and they're playing different tees, so you have to like wait for her. And this chick, like, and she's not even a chick. I mean, she was acting like a chick. This lady was 60 years old. Shout out to Cheryl if she ever somehow stumbles upon our podcast. But we get paired,
Daryl.
dude. We get paired with Cheryl, and we're about 4 holes in, and like she's like talking to my buddy about like she's like, oh man, like we got to get a birdie here. Now this lady, she's 60 years old and she's playing golf. So kudos to her, awesome like that she's out there playing. But she's like, man, we gotta get some birdie juice. And I'm like, what the hell is birdie juice? And sure enough, my buddy makes a birdie on the fifth hole. And she's like, birdie juice time. Dude, she reaches into her cart and pulls out a Ziploc bag full of airplane liquor bottles. And she's like, birdie juice time. Pulls out the little shot glasses, dude, like plastic shot glasses.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, we got a drink for birdies. And I'm like, that's what birdie juice is? And she's like pouring the shots. Dude, we had an absolute ball with this girl. She's obviously she's in the industry. She's a bartender.
Okay.
But
Where at? Where does she bartend?
she bartends up at Chaps,
Okay.
up in Norristown. So I mean, she was just like such a cool lady. Just an awesome experience. And it was just a great day. You know what I mean? Like she played really well too. Like she was really good off the tee. Like, and just great vibes, dude. It was just like a good vibe day. And, a couple birdie juices, we're flowing a little bit here and there, dude. We made the turn and like she gets in the cart and she's got a 6-pack of surf sides and she's ready to rock. I'm like, what is going? This lady's awesome, dude. But like, yeah, we had a great round with Cheryl and yeah, it was just a good day, dude. Good day.
That's awesome. I was fortunate enough to get out and golf today as well. Beautiful day. My friend had a free round at North Hills Country Club, a club where one of our friends is a pro at. And we get out there to play. Beautiful day. And we're just out there bullshitting. A couple of the guys, that you grew up with. And we're talking about this and that. And my one buddy's shoes were squeaking. Whenever he would walk, so we started calling him Squeaks, and so it was our cart,
Pretty original.
Me and my buddy Squeaks were going against well, his name's Pat. So at first I was calling him Squeaky Pat, but then eventually just kind of went down to Squeaks. And so it was us two versus the other cart. And so they're like, "Yeah, what's your guys' team name?" I said, "Well, we gotta be Squeaks, the Squeaks or something." And then they were like, what should our team name be? And I was like, did you guys ever see that commercial? It's about like when you have a crooked dick and you take the medicine and it makes it like uncrooked or something like that. And so like
what commercial are you watching, dude?
So it's this weird ass commercial and I was like telling about it, and they use like, I was like, I don't know what it is, if it was like a cucumber or they use like an eggplant or something, but it's like crooked, right? And so then they're like telling you about the medicine, and it like straightens it out, So then,
wait, do they actually have like a diagram or like some sort of like model that it shows?
yes, but it's a vegetable, right? And so I'm like, dude, and so then we're sitting there and I'm like, now I'm gonna go search in my phone dick straightening medicine. You know what I mean? And now it's like, do you accept the cookies? Yeah, I'll accept all the cookies, whatever you want. And so the name of the medicine is called Xiaflex. So then it was the Squeaks versus Xiaflex, right? And the whole rest of the day was a commercial for Xiaflex, when someone would make, oh, well, that was a Xiaflex shot of the day. Really straighten that one out down there. And it's just like, it is funny, the stupid shit that you and your friends will talk about on the golf course. But I was sitting there laughing like, man, this is so funny that we're just bullshitting about just a couple of goofy guys.
Yeah. It's funny though. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's such a crapshoot when you play golf, right? You sign up for, say, a twosome, right? And you have no idea what you're gonna get. Like you hope that you can just play with your buddy and get on the course and you just motor through the round. Not even motor through the round. Like, I enjoy a round. I'm not saying like play fast as possible and get off the course, but you're there to hang out with your buddy. You want to listen to music. You kind of want to be uninhibited, right? You just want to do what you want to do on the golf course and enjoy yourself while you're doing it. If you get paired with somebody that is just uptight and just like a psychopath and doesn't want to listen to music, it kind of ruins the round. It puts a damper on the round because now you're walking on eggshells. Like, you went out with the intention of like, hey, I'm going to listen to some good tunes. I'm going to have a couple beers, right? And we're going to have a good time. And man, like, I've been paired with people in the past where it's happened to me and I'm like, dude, this fucking round sucks, man. It just goes off the edge and you're like, you're playing the music at a super low like volume and you can't hear the music. You're not really enjoying yourself. It kind of blows. But then like I started thinking to myself, to my buddy, I said to my buddy today, I'm like, imagine the two lucky bastards get paired with us two. Like, we're some pretty fucking cool guys, dude. Like, yeah, they're probably in their cart. Like, look at these two guys. I mean, like, we couldn't have hit the lottery any better with these two idiots. Like, they're out there ripping beers. Like, they don't give a shit if I'm hitting one into the woods. Like, it is what it is with us. Like he's like, yeah, I think we are some pretty cool guys. It's not a bad deal if they get dealt a Schmidt and his partner, his buddy. Like that's pretty decent company. You know what I mean?
Well, I haven't. I want to say the handful of times I've been randomly paired with people, I've never had like a terrible partnering experience. You know what I mean? The one that comes to mind was like, the guys were cool, but they're just kind of douchey. You know what I mean? But it was like they were cool enough.
Right.
But everyone else, like I've always had. I got paired with like two Japanese guys at one time. I think I might have brought this up on the show, and my buddy was having a terrible round. And I was shooting great. I'm shooting well. We were playing at center square, which is no longer there anymore. And I'm shooting well. I think I ended up shooting like, low 80s or something like that. And my buddy's going into the woods. And so I'm becoming friendlier and friendlier with these Japanese guys. And I'm like, I'm hamming it up with them now, like, oh, yeah, yeah. What about Ichiro, man? What a great player he is, right? And what's the best sushi restaurant around? I love sushi. I'm a big fan of that. And we may sing some karaoke later, whatever.
You're simulating. You're trying to, you're trying to make,
Yeah.
I get it.
One of the guys, right? And so the one guy, the Japanese guy, he had like a 4-foot putt or something like that, and he misses it, and he yells at himself, and he goes, "Uso, oh Uso," he says, and I'm like, "Uso," which is ironic, it's Uso, but that's what he says, "Uso," and I'm like, "Uso, what the?" I was like, "What does that mean?" And he goes, "Oh man, big joke or a big mistake or bad, you're a big joke," and I'm like, "Oh okay." I was like, that was his nickname in high school. And I point to my buddy, right? And they start cracking up. And for the rest of the round, every bad shot, we just go, Uso! And he's just steaming the whole time. It was one of the best golf rounds of my life. I love seeing someone lose their cool.
I've been with a few guys that have been just like brutal. I played with a father and son down in Florida, and the son thought he was like God's gift to golf. And I mean, every shot he was like living and dying on every shot. Like, I mean, he was a pretty good golfer, but like if he missed by just a little bit, he would like freak out and slam his club to the point where like it was like the 11th or 12th hole. And at this point, like I've had a handful of beers, and his son was like on the side, like playing his shot. And I walked up to the dad. I'm like, is he always like this? And the dad goes, he grabs the flask that he had like just in his back pocket, and he looked at me. He's like, yeah, all the time. And takes a whack, and I'm like, that's great, dude.
Birdie juice.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, how do you do this? I'm like, and the whole round, we're like trying to figure out how we're going to play with this guy because he was just being so serious. Like, it's like, dude, relax. It's just a game, man. Like, we're all on vacation down here. Relax. But
yeah, Timmy, some people need to relax, and that's going to bring me to our next topic. We got a lot going on in my neighborhood. Obviously, the Halloween season is upon us.
Ooh.
We have trick-or-treaters. What are you going to be for Halloween? The costumes, the whole deal. And I like to decorate the outside of my house, Tim. And I will be putting up a poll, but what seems to happen is I get into a competition with my entire neighborhood. And that's when I say my neighborhood, I'm saying there's like about 3 blocks. It's a block up, a cul-de-sac, and then another block out. All right. So it goes around. Basically, I want to be the best decorated house in the neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Last year, Halloween happened. We decorated, and it was cool decorations. My brother was in town. He wanted to do something with like my son to kind of like bond with him a little bit. We put up the Halloween decorations. Mickey loves decorations and how cool the house looks and all that other stuff. So it makes it a lot of fun. And so when Christmas was coming up, Mickey says to me, "Dad, are we going to decorate the house real good for Christmas?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, we're going to be the best looking house on the block, just like Halloween." And my kid, without skipping a beat, goes, "We weren't the best looking house on Halloween." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, the house like 3 houses up on the left, that was the best looking house." And Tim, I knew he was telling the truth, and I knew that we weren't the best looking house on the block and that the other house was in fact a better looking house. Well, Christmas came, and let's just
It's-
say I dominated the decoration game for Christmas.
it sounded like that little conversation you had with Mickey sounded like it was straight out of It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, Sonny, we're gonna be the best looking house in the neighborhood.
Just like last
betcha,
year.
you betcha, Mickey.
Well,
We're
Dad,
gonna decorate.
well, we weren't the best looking house, but either way, I've now gotten into a competition with the rest of my neighborhood that none of them know anything about. I'm the only one that's competing for the best looking house in the neighborhood. But this house, I mean, they've stepped it up. So I dominated Christmas. The difference is, Tim, and this is what I do that nobody else do. I get on the roof. I go to the roof. I'll put the ladder up. I'm up on the ladder. Dude, I was up there on the ladder today, and I'll tell you what, when you find out, like when Tom Lavelle, like when it's like he died on a tragic, like I do some things that you really shouldn't be doing up on a ladder. Okay, I'm up there, I have it up, I'm stepping off the ladder onto the porch roof. I'm climbing around. There was a wasp nest I found like right at the top right hand corner, and I'm like, oh man, that's a pretty big wasp nest right there.
Tom, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people use ladders to get up on roofs. So that's what the purpose of ladders are. They get up on the roof and get back on the ladder. Like that's what the purpose of a ladder is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I probably shouldn't be like jumping from one thing to the other. I'm like, I can make it. I take some liberties, I'll say. Like
okay.
I can hang very Ninja
You, you
Warrior-esque.
don't follow the directions on the ladder where it's supposed to, you're just supposed to climb it up one rung
Yeah.
at a time. Both
Well,
feet down.
sometimes you don't feel like going back all the way down, moving it over, going all the way. I can reach, I can get there. I can balance on this thing.
Sure.
I'm risking life and limb.
You push the limits.
As always, I push the limits, Tim. And what I'd like to do, I guess, is I'm going to be putting up the pictures of my house and my neighbor's house, and we will let the people decide. Some people that follow us will know which house is mine. I'm asking you to answer fairly. Don't be biased towards me because you're like, oh, Tom Lavelle, he's the best. He's the greatest.
Big
He's
time podcaster.
big time podcaster, the best part of Schmidt Lavelle. We don't want to be biased in our voting, but I want honest opinions. Whose house is the best house? We're going to settle this once and for all. Is the Lavelle house or the neighbor's houses the best decorated Halloween house in the neighborhood? What do you think?
Yeah, but
Tim?
what if somebody in the neighborhood has a way better house than both your houses?
I'll put up as many as there is. Believe me, it's between me and one other house. There's other people. There might be a blow up. There might be some pumpkins. But it's nothing crazy.
What? Wait a second. Are you putting the whole neighborhood on notice right now? Are you saying that like there's no competition except for neighbor?
There's one neighbor that's competition. Yeah, and I dominated Christmas. I
hope to God people listen to this podcast and there's just house after house of just major lights. Like you have to spend like $6,000.
$6,000.
Yeah. I hope there's like
I'll be losing at that point.
Like giant headless horsemen all over the place, like Ichabod Crane running down the street. It'll be great.
Yeah. Well, without giving too much away, I've tweaked my house a little bit today. Me and Mickey were doing it. Tomorrow, I'm hopefully going to be having the finishing touches up, and we will be sending out that picture for you to look at and vote. I was trying to get a picture of the neighbor's house today, but they parked their car in a way where I don't get the full effect. You know what I mean? They need to move their car for me to get their house. Like there's a car blocking a certain decoration.
I think it might be a little gamesmanship on their part.
Yeah, they don't want me to see, what's going on. I wonder if they think about it. They look at my house and they're like, oh wow, like Tim, I literally planted a tree in my front yard last year, in the middle of my yard. I bought the biggest tree at the lot. I put it up. I put a lights all on it. I put little light up presents underneath, a star on the top. Santa was on my roof.
Who'd you get the tree from?
I go to the greatest Christmas tree salesman in all of Roxborough, Mr. John Lynch at the Secret Garden. Go to the Secret Garden. the best stuff you can get. In fact, I'm going to be stopping there tomorrow to pick up some chrysanthemums and some pumpkins to add to my Halloween decor.
What a plug. What a plug. It's I think that's our second sponsorship right there that's not paid for.
Timmy, I have talked to him about it, and I'm going to put this on the show right now. What would you feel like a Christmas tree commercial from Schmidt Lavelle for the Secret Garden? We go down there and we
I
do a
think
Christmas tree commercial.
I think we need, I think during our Christmas time, I think we need to dress up our podcast with maybe some poinsettias,
Some what?
like poinsettias.
Poinsettias? Isn't
Yeah.
it just poinsettias?
I think it's settias.
Poinsettias? Poinsettias?
Poinsettias?
Poinsettias.
Are you sure it's not settias?
I don't know. We're gonna have to figure this
We're
out.
gonna
That's
have to
gonna
go
be
down to the
something in the
secret
commercial.
garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
We'll
have to
go down to
talk.
the Secret Garden
He's
and
gonna
find
set
out.
us straight. He's gonna go, listen.
He's gonna poinsettia straight.
Yeah. if we don't get it right, he's not gonna want us plugging his shit on there. You know what I mean? We got to make sure we know the names of these flowers.
Yeah. Oh well, the trees. I'm thinking Christmas trees, the Douglas firs, and there's another type. I don't know, but they're both very good.
Yeah, the pine. They're missing.
All right. So let's move on. Speaking of plugging other things, Timmy, a very, very important thing's happening. I have been invited to join the podcast of Homemade Picks on their live stream on Sundays, where they talk about which games they're going to gamble on, the NFL, why they're picking these games. We go through the whole gauntlet, and they've reached out to me. Tom, can you be on the show? What do you think? Isn't that great news, Tim?
It's fantastic. I mean, out of both of us, you probably are the more well-educated, sportsman of the duo.
I'm probably a more degenerate gambler, I would say.
You're right. I do not gamble, but I mean, if I did gamble, look, you're the guy. You're the guy I go to for all the sports information I need. So, it makes sense why they would ask you to go on. Especially, whatever. It's listen, I'm happy for you. I hope you really do good things on that show. I hope you get some good exposure for our show, Tom. I think that's
the
what it's
plan.
all about. That's really what's it's all meant to be, right? That's
Timmy, I was going to, and this is what I wanted to bring up to you. I was going to reach out to them and say, I'm not going on this show without my partner in crime. It's Schmidt and Lavelle. It isn't Lavelle.
No, you don't have to do that.
I'm gonna do it, Timmy.
No, you go have yourself a good time.
Well, my question is, do you want to be on the show? Because you're like,
no, I'm okay. You know what? I'll just do my own homemade picks and I'll send it out under our little umbrella of Schmidt and Lavelle. I'll do my own picks this week and I'll put them out. And those people that want real hard hitting picks, real sports insight, they can tune in to Schmidt Lavelle on Sunday right before the 1:00 games, and I'll give you all my picks. I'm talking Eagles. I'm talking weather. I'm talking who's in and who's out. You want to tune in? You tune in to me, baby, because I'm going to give you what I need, baby.
Oh man, we're going live.
It's Schmidt Lavelle fantasy football. We're doing it all. Roto Wire. Let's go, baby.
Sponsored by the Secret Garden.
Yeah.
Oh man, Timmy. Well, if you're listening to this out there, do keep an eye out for me and possibly Tim on Homemade Picks. We're going to be going live with them in a couple weeks on a Sunday. They talk everything gambling with NFL. I want to say Vinny in his last 15 picks has been 12-3 in his last 15 picks. So if you're looking for a winner, he's on a heater right now, as they would say in the biz. Is that what they say?
I don't know. I'm not a gambler.
Yeah. Timmy, life's a gamble, and I'm all in.
I'm all in on you, Tom.
Oh man. All right, Timmy. Speaking of gambles, let me tell you something. This past week, today, I got to read something to you, Tim. I got to read something to you. I'm going to go through. This was at, I had a tea time, right? And I'm getting ready to go for the tea time. I'm getting dressed. I jump in the tea time's at 10. I'm about 15 minutes away from the golf course. So it's about 8:50. I jump in the shower. I get out of the shower 10 minutes later to 4 missed calls and 3 texts. 2 of them emphasized, all in caps. It says, pick up the phone. Emphasized. Is Benny wearing a coat? If not, you need to take his coat to daycare ASAP. Please answer me. Do I need to leave work? This is horrible. I am so upset.
All right, I'm going to stop you right now. The coat is the most overrated article of clothing of all time. My mom used to do this to me constantly, even till until she passed. She would go, You going out without a coat on? I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna be literally outside for 8 seconds from the walk to the car, right? And then the walk from the car to the other house. That's it. I don't need a coat. I'm good. The coat is, dude, I haven't worn a coat. I wear a sweatshirt every so often, but the coat is an overrated article of clothing unless you're really going out in the coat for an extended period of time. You need a coat when you go to like a sporting event. You need a coat if you're going to be out in the cold for an extended period of time. You don't need a coat to go to school when you're not even going outside. Do they even do recess outside in the cold?
They have like an outside. Timmy, this is my 1-year-old we're talking about here too.
Oh, okay. All right. So, freaking out a little. Freaking out right now.
Now, for like a teenager or a younger kid, in this weather, especially today, you didn't need a coat. The sun came out. As long as you were in the sun, you were fine. It was I had a jacket early on for the golf, but I took it off because it was beautiful out.
Yeah, you're also You're a rugged man that loves the elements.
Rugged. Love the elements. I love. I've been starting a whole new breathing thing, but that's let's not get into that. So
what?
Yeah, I'm a breather now. Every morning I wake up, I take 30 deep breaths in and out, right? I almost pass out. And then on the last one, I hold my breath and I try to do that 3 times. And then I start my day.
You want to let the people know why you do this?
Well, I've been following this guy on TikTok who seems to know a lot about human biology. And he says that oxygen in your cells is so important, and people that don't get enough oxygen, the more oxygen you get into your cells, the better you're going to feel, the better you're going to act, and the better life's going to be.
Yeah, right.
So you need to get out there and breathe. People don't do that. They're stuck inside all the time. They don't even take deep breaths anymore. He said that 90% of people in life after the age of 30 will not sprint once after the age of 30. Did you know that?
Yeah, I'm living proof.
Yeah. I've been fortunate enough to be playing soccer like the last 10 years, but in the last year since my kids were born, I have not sprinted once. And so I need to get back on it. Like, you would think you'd be able to run a little bit and sprint here and there.
So who's this guy on TikTok you're following?
His name's Gary Brecka.
He's completely changed your mornings now. So this dude on TikTok has completely changed to the point where you're almost passing out because you're breathing 30 times. So what validation does Gary, what's his name?
Brecka.
Have you done any research on this guy, or is just some dude you're blindly following?
I mean, by doing research, I've seen his TikTok videos, and he's changed Dana White's life. The way Dana White sells it, I'm all in. I'm sold.
Beautiful.
Checking it out, trying to do less carbs.
How are the results so far? I mean, has your life differed at all? I mean,
I have felt better. The fresh air and the oxygen, I feel like, has helped. Now, the thing is, Timmy, is I don't have much time to do anything, and I'm a bit of an alcoholic. So that is not necessarily best for you. You know what I mean? So there's a couple hurdles I still need to jump over, but I do believe in what he's saying. I'm not like, I'm not committed enough to it. But I said, hey, if I can get the fresh air, at least I'm getting some fresh air.
Yeah, can't wait to hear about next week's breathing exercises. Can't wait.
I'll be back tomorrow morning.
Can't
Wake
wait.
up, first thing you do, chug a big glass of water, get outside, and you start breathing. And I'm not talking a little bit like that.
Those are some good breaths. I can tell.
Thank you. So either way, I'm already starting to get a little bit lightheaded. They say that's good for you. My wife, 3 texts, caps. She's got them. She's got them emphasized. 4 missed calls in a matter of 10 minutes. I get out. I said, yeah, he has a jacket. I put his jacket on him. I was taking a shower. Jesus Christ. Do I need 4 missed calls? Threats to come home, emphasize text messages, all this other stuff. Timmy, I want to share a story with you from Saturday. Saturday morning, we hosted her whole family for breakfast. Her brother was in town. He lives in Pittsburgh. The whole family came over to have this breakfast. I went on the Blackstone Grill in the rain, made a whole breakfast. Pancakes, Timmy, my pancake game is through the roof. Gary Brecka doesn't really love pancakes, but that's besides the point. I host this whole thing, set up, cook all the food. I cleaned all the dishes, put them away. I have to go out. I have a golf outing that I'm running coming up in less than a week. I need to do some things real quick. Let me go do them. I'll be back. About a half an hour, I come back. Watch your step, she says to me. Watch your step, Tom. I said, what is going on? There's shit on the ground, Timmy. Human shit on the ground. The Bennett, my 1-year-old, took a shit in the middle of our kitchen. I was gone for 30 minutes. And she's questioning me about a jacket?
It's maybe he's potty training. Is that what's going on over there?
No. She changed his diaper. She thought, like, let him air out a little bit, get some fresh air. We're big into fresh air over here. And next thing you know, she looks over and he's squatting in the middle of the kitchen. And I come home. I have a video, but I can't post it. It's too personal, I think,
So he's
running around.
Was he doing his breathing exercises too? Was he
Hey,
he's letting one out?
It works for him, he is as comfortable as can be. Just let it drop right in the kid. But Tim, the audacity of her to be questioning me. All caps texts, 4 missed calls. Does he have a jacket?
See,
yes. I can put a jacket on my kid.
I'm so lucky to not have to deal with any of that, because when my kids are with me, I answer to nobody. Divorce is a beautiful thing, Tom.
Tim,
I'm not trying to convince you that that's an option. But,
Tim, let me say this. I appreciate and I actually love that my wife is very, very concerned about her children. Okay. She is all in. She wants nothing but the best for her kids. She's over the top. I get that. I like that she's so much about her kids. It is annoying at times, though.
How about this? Dude, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I picked my kids up from soccer game, and my sister was with me, and Allie. And upon leaving the field, I take the kids home, right? Because they had their soccer game, and after the soccer game, they come with me, and they came home. My ex-wife decides that she's going to give directions to my sister about the care and the well-being of our children while I'm standing right next to her. I'm looking at her like, I'm their father. Like, you're talking to the wrong person here. And like at this point, like, I mean, we're 10 years in here. It's like,
what's Allie say to that? And she just okay.
She's just looking over at me like, I don't know. Okay.
I mean, I don't want to get into it, but you guys can't be her biggest fan. You know what I mean? Even Allison probably isn't the biggest fan of
No, nothing bad to say. It's it's a situation.
Okay.
Like we make it work, Tom.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Well, then I was poorly mistaken. I'm sorry. And just like I make it work too, Tim.
Yes, you
But
do.
we're making it work. And Tim, let's get right into it. The biggest thing going right now in Philadelphia, speaking of making it work, the Philadelphia Phillies. I love them. One of my favorite team. Tim, Bryce Harper might be my favorite Philly of all time. I freaking love Bryce Harper. And I used to hate the guy. I thought he was a douchebag. I wanted nothing to do with him. When we signed him, I said, oh, great. This is a mistake. And about 2 months in, it quickly turned to me like concerned about his kids and how his life, Bryce is the best. He's just this and that. But this run
Well,
that
I
this
mean,
team's on is it's incredible, and the city's buzzing, and it's great to watch. They're on a mission, Tim, and I'm loving every second of it.
you were not wrong to think that he was a douchebag because he was a little bit of a juice. He was like coming up. He this dude has been in the spotlight since he's 14 years old. I mean, the guy or 11 years old, I think it was. Didn't go to college, went to or I think dropped out of high school to go to JUCO because he
At
just was
16, dropped out of high
yeah.
school.
Yeah, like the guy's been in the spotlight forever and it's hard to not feel yourself, like to be full of yourself when you're being told that you're the best ever and you're one of the best prospects and it has truly been a remarkable turnaround for him, his leadership. I mean, you talk about when he was with the Nationals, he got in a big fight with Jonathan Papelbon in the dugout and was considered widely but as a pretty shitty teammate. But I mean, as Philadelphia sports fans here, since the time he started, he's embraced the city. We have just quote after quote of him just endearing himself to the fans, to the area, the surrounding area, and just being just such a productive member of the Philadelphia Phillies sports organization. And what's most important, obviously, is what he does at the plate and what he does as a player. And he has delivered in every big moment. Just, I mean, he is in just the pantheon right now of just playoff baseball. Um, just, just his statistics, just everything that he's doing right now is remarkable. And the Phillies are now in a position to get to the World Series for the second year in a row. They're 2 wins away. And they, Tom, look like a juggernaut. And I was talking to my buddy today, and I said, I hate saying this because, we have that in the back of our minds as Philadelphia sports fans, that just little doubt that always creeps in, like something, it's Murphy's Law.
Right.
Like it's gonna something bad's gonna happen. But dude, this team just seems like it's rolling and that there's one mission and it's to win the World Series and there's nothing that's gonna get in the way of it. And I swear to God, I hope to God, in less than 2 weeks or whatever it is, how much time is left, that they are parading down Broad Street because this team deserves it, man. They are awesome. They're fun to watch. The fans have been incredible. I mean, it's just a different time for Philadelphia Phillies baseball, and it's just great to be around.
Yeah. They like you said, there's a focus this year. Last year we were happy to be there and we caught fire and the team wanted to win and they gave it their all and it was incredible. This year they've come into this postseason and they know what they need to do. They are focused. They're going to make it happen. That huge signing of Trey Turner, how incredible he's been in this postseason run. The pitching, our starting pitching has been great. Our bullpen everything is just God. It's like it's almost too good to be true. Like you're saying, as Philly fans, we know like we've lived it, and it's like there's always that oh boy, until we win, there's going to be that weight of, that hold your breath. Like we were watching the game at the bar the other night, Tim, and it's like I think you tweeted, I think I died 3 times during that game, and
Mm.
it's just
Yeah.
true, the ups and downs. I mean, the Rojas catch, on the bases loaded, and the home runs, and like the epic home runs too. These guys are breaking records in the amount of home runs they're hitting, and we still have players that haven't even started to click. If you get Bohm going a little bit, there's a lot that can happen with this team. And so it's almost like if some guys are going to fall behind, like you can't imagine Turner's going to hit 500 for the whole postseason. But now Schwarber's hitting home runs. And once he catches fire, man, he can hit 10 home runs in 10 games, no
Yeah.
problem. So it's
It,
exciting,
it's
man.
it's scary what they're doing offensively. Defensively, yeah, Bohm hasn't had it going at the plate, but holy shit, man, he is playing an incredible third base. And dude, this whole thing does not work. And I've said this 1,000 times. Bryce Harper being able to play first base has completely changed the dynamic of this organization for the playoffs. I mean, you'll have to. I mean, for a professional baseball player to go from right field to playing first base, and really, I mean, you can consider him the MVP of this team because without that move, I mean, that puts Kyle Schwarber out in left field. It changes the dynamic of the entire lineup. Bryce will
Yeah.
have to DH, right? Like the
Ohms
defensive
at first,
shift.
maybe Sosa
Yeah,
at third or something.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah. There's just so many different moves that would have to be made without Bryce Harper being able to play first base, and he's playing a good first base. I mean, he's played 30, I think 33 games at first base this year. That's it. And he's playing a really good first base. He hasn't made really any errors whatsoever, knock on wood. Um, and obviously his bat speaks for itself, but like, I mean, the pitching also has been incredible. Like Zach Wheeler right now has the lowest whip of any postseason pitcher in Major League Baseball history. That's bananas, dude. Aaron Nola, who was, I mean, we were talking about how he just could not deliver throughout the entire year, right? Like
mhm.
in a contract year, we're like, oh man, Nola's just he just doesn't have it this year. We're not going to re-sign him, and he's gone out and has pitched he's been better than Wheeler this year in the playoffs. And that's hard to fathom because Wheeler's been excellent. And Ranger Suarez, like, dude, everyone is like hitting on all cylinders. And that's why I say this team is a juggernaut and it's hard to fathom that anyone's going to knock them off. And God, I hope I'm right. I hope I'm not jinxing it, but like, I'm not taking down this machine with what we're talking about right now, dude. Like it's going to take a Herculean effort from a baseball team to beat these guys in 4 games.
Yep, they're laser focused. We're excited. Next game tomorrow at 5 o'clock. By the time you hear this, that game will probably be started or in the books. So hopefully we get another win, go up 3-0, and can just get into the World Series ASAP. Arizona's a tough team. They didn't give up on the first night. The second night, we just were that juggernaut that was, there's certain games when we're playing our game, there's no one that's going to beat us. We have the offensive firepower and the pitching. Shout out to Topper and shout out to the president. What's his name? Middleton?
Middleton.
Dude, what an incredible job that guy has done, and a lot of scrutiny over the last couple of years. But this team that's on the field right now is, I mean, you look at them and they're a juggernaut right now.
He also he is a local Philadelphian that grew up watching this team, rooting for his team, and he has shown up at every game. Yesterday at the game, he's sitting out at home plate, right where the entrance is, and is shaking all the fans' hands, like welcome them into the ballpark. It's like what like an incredible thing for an owner to do, to be out in front of with your fans, just really just taking it all in. I mean, the dude is just like he's embracing the moment, and he's that guy that's out in the front and is the face of your organization. And it's cool to see a guy like that doing those things. And it trickles down through the organization because the Phillies players have done that too.
Yeah. So, like we said, very excited for these next couple games to come up and hopefully a run into the World Series. And we can be talking about the upcoming World Series matchup next week. Fingers crossed. All right, Timmy. Now some bad news, I guess. You know, the 1-5 Eagles lost again last week to the New York Jets. And we joke about it every week how Eagles fans, it's the sky is falling every week. There are some things I do want to talk about. You know, we've been saying that the offense hasn't been clicking, they haven't been clicking. I mean, I just feel like this offensive game plan this past week. Now, the Jets have a great defense, and they've made a lot of good quarterbacks look very average this season. But that interception that Jalen Hurts threw towards the end of the game is that cannot happen. That is a if you're a good quarterback in this league, if you're a great quarterback in this league, that interception is not an option. One, why are they not fucking pounding the ball and running it there to try to kill the clock and get the first down? You down their throats, get the first down, maybe do it again, and the game's over.
Yeah. Now they ran the ball a couple times there. I think on first and second down, they didn't really gain any yards. But regardless, you abandon the run game the entire game. I mean, they barely ran the ball. They tried to run it with Jalen a little bit here and there, but it it was just a bad game for Jalen. And I didn't like the game plan. The defense actually played really well. I mean, for as many injuries as they had throughout that entire game. I mean, dude, Tom, me and you were playing in the secondary in the second half of that game. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't even name the four guys that were playing corner and safety for the Eagles. Um, it's it's a bad game, a game you should have won. When Lane Johnson goes down, that's what affects the entire game. And like people like to point out, like who's the MVP of this team? Like who the offensive line and the defense line. We talked about this plenty of times on the show. That's what sets the tone for the entire game, right? If you can control the line of scrimmage, you're going to win most of those games. And when Lane Johnson goes down with his ankle injury, he went out questionable. As soon as he left, I'm like, dude, that's such a big, big loss because if you look at their record when Lane Johnson plays, they are a totally different team. And he's protecting the quarterback's front side. So everyone talks about the left tackle. Mylott has done such a great job, but like Jason Peters was there before him. Um, Lane Johnson has been a staple there for 12 plus years, dude. Like he's been that guy that you can count on. And when he goes down, like you're looking and you're getting skittish back there. And that's what happened. And it shouldn't happen. Jalen Hurts should trust his offensive line and be able to deliver the football in the manner that he should. But for whatever reason, he just didn't trust that right tackle that came in. And he just was off his game from that point forward, and they couldn't score any points. I mean, they get shut out in the second half was bad. They were down both their corners. They decided to air the ball out, and they just couldn't. They couldn't get anything going. It just had that feeling of a loss, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like
All
Jake.
week.
I mean, dude, Jake Elliott missing a 37-yard field goal. It was a
Yeah.
chip shot. Like this guy's hitting 60-yard field goals, game winners, and he misses that field goal.
I think they
It
just lacked that focus, you know. I
yeah.
feel like they went in and they were going through the motions, and next thing you know, bit them in the ass, you know.
Yeah. And look, again, in this league, if you let your guard down, you can get beat by anybody. And dude, it just doesn't feel like the league doesn't seem that great right now. Like there's a lot of good teams, but like there's also a lot of shit. Like, dude, we're looking at I just saw the power rankings the other day. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are ranked like 10th or 11th. Like they're not a good team, dude. They suck. And
Yeah.
they're in the
They
top. They're in the
stink.
top. and they're in the top 10 of the NFL. I mean, there's a handful of good teams. I think the league's wide open. You just gotta, you gotta get through this part of your schedule now. You got the Dolphins coming in, then you got the Redskins, and then you go through that tough part of your schedule with the Cowboys and the Chiefs and the Bills. It's going to
The
be
Niners.
Niners. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, you let a game slip away. It's a shame. Jalen Hurts looked terrible. People are saying he's regressing. I don't think so. I think he just had a bad game. I think Lane Johnson should be out there on Sunday night. Kelly Green's come back, Tom, and yeah, I think we're gonna get a W this Sunday night. So
Wow. Timmy, positive all episodes. I love that, just happy Tim being positive as usual. One last thing before we go, Timmy, I just want to take a short moment on this one. You texted me, you talked to me about the videos that'll be circling online, on Instagram, on TikTok or whatever, of these people doing the Philadelphia accent.
well,
Tim, I think we have some concerns with that, maybe, or some thoughts. Why don't you let the people know what we think about that?
no, I mean, I just don't get it. This, and I see it time and time again, like these videos. And I think you know who I'm going to blame for this. Who's the lady that was on Saturday Night Live? What's her name?
Oh,
Tina
Tina
Fey.
Fey.
Tina Fey did her little impression of the Delco chick with the Philadelphia accent on Saturday Night Live, like probably like 10 years ago.
And everyone's
And
trying to mimic it now.
yeah, and then like you get the Mayor of Easttown, that show on Showtime that was a popular hit, and everyone wants to do the Delco accent. Everyone's talking about what's her face and doing her Delco accent, Kate Winslet, and oh my god, like she was incredible. She won the a Grammy for, or not a Grammy, whatever it was.
She
She
learned how to
fucking
say
won.
wah wah, blah blah blah. Yeah, she's great.
Oh,
A hoagie. It's a hoagie.
one of the toughest dialects ever to mimic, and like now it's just like it's so bastardized, dude. Like everyone is doing their own like impression, and it's so fucking annoying, dude. Like the, the dude, look, the dude, there's a guy that's on and like
Can't
I
spell
don't know.
wild without wild and
Yeah,
wood. It's
yeah, meet
a
me at the
vibe,
dead
bro.
dog.
It's a vibe, bro.
Yeah, it's a vibe, bro. Like that. I can't even do the accent. It's so fucking
I think it's
cringe
pretty
worthy.
funny, actually.
Dude, but like that dude, whoever that dude's handle is, we should probably highlight him. His other comedy stuff, like I like started looking through his shit because I'm like, this can't be the only fucking thing that he's known for. And I started going through his shit. He actually has some like decent material on there. And like it's worth watching, and because some of it's funny, but like the Delco stuff is terrible. Like the I saw some lady the other day did like Delco moms watching the Phillies game, and then like they're doing the hoagie accent again. Oh, it's a hoagie. Like, dude.
You know what it was? I saw the one. It was a Delco mom saying why Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce. You know what she's doing, right? She's using him to try to get him tired for the Super Bowl so that she can mess him up and blah blah blah. And the Eagles win the freaking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's only like a pocket of Philadelphia that kind of sounds like that. It's not like all of it. Might like I don't think we sound like that, do we?
I mean, you're not really a true Philadelphian,
Yeah,
Tom.
but I feel like I'd have the accent now. I've been here
Maybe.
long enough.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't think I sound like that. I know that we do have a strong accent, but like
We have an accent, you
it
think?
just, I think we make ourselves look like idiots when we put these fucking people out here that are doing these like spoof videos, and they're all from Philadelphia, like making fun of our own accent, when like you're the one that has the accent, you idiot. Like you're overdoing it, you're overselling it to make us sound look like assholes.
Oh,
Like
I
that's
think
not.
it's endearing. People
uh,
like the accent. It's
no, the
it's
accent's terrible. Accent's terrible. Your comedy sketches are terrible. Leave it be. It's fucking played. Let it go.
Mayor of Easttown.
Fucking
Uh,
Kate Winslet and Tina Fey. Thank you.
yeah, and there was room on that chest for Jack. God damn it. You let him die in Titanic, you son of a bitch. All right, Timmy. That's going to bring us to the end of this episode. Another great episode. Tim, let's get back to those happy thoughts. The glass is half full. You know, go have yourself a hoagie.
I'm gonna have a Yingling. I can't even do the accent, dude. It's so terrible.
I'd have to hear it to be able to try to mimic it. You know, I don't feel like I have it right now.
Come up with something original. Why don't you do like some impressions of some celebrities? Like, why don't you do like a Bill Cosby? Like, the gelatin comes from the pudding and the pop.
I don't know if people are doing Bill Cosby anymore. I feel like he's
I went down to Temple the other day to have myself a nice little Kool-Aid.
Oh, that's a pretty good Bill Cosby, actually. I thought that was pretty good, Timmy.
Thanks, bud.
Well, we appreciate you listening to our show. If you think we have an accent, let us know in the comments. Say, Tom, Tim, you both have accent. You both got accents, you stupid jabrones. But we love you. What's that?
We should come up with a new segment, Tom.
What's that?
If you want me to do a celebrity voice, I will do it at the end of the show.
Okay. Send us your celebrity voice. We'll have to put that out there for people to know. Please send us a celebrity voice for Mr. Timothy Schmidt to do for the shows coming up. My name's Tom Lavelle. For Timothy Schmidt, thank you for listening to Schmidt and Lavelle. We love you. We hope you have a great rest of your week. Till next week, have a good one. Timmy, anything you'd like to say to all the Schmidt and Lavelleites out there before we sign off?
Tom, nothing but the same thing every week. What would the world be without Captain James Hook?
God bless you. Next week. See ya.
Later.